Imagine a scene in the hallowed halls of the British Parliament, a place rife with sharp tongues and even sharper wits. The year was 1946, and Winston Churchill, the indomitable orator and former Prime Minister, was in the midst of a spirited debate. Suddenly, Lady Esther, known for her acerbic wit, rose to her feet and declared, "Winston, if you were my husband, I'd poison your tea." Without missing a beat, Churchill, ever the master of repartee, replied, "Nancy, if I were your husband, I'd drink it." The chamber erupted in laughter, but for a fleeting moment, even the great Churchill was caught off guard by the sheer audacity of the exchange. This lesser-known, yet undeniably captivating dialogue showcases the timeless art of political banter, reminding us that even the mightiest can be momentarily speechless. Imagine the scene, the grand halls of the French court, where whispers of power and intrigue linger like the scent of expensive perfume. It's the early 1800s, and Napoleon Bonaparte, a man of insatiable ambition and towering ego, has just crowned himself emperor. Enter Charles Maurice de Talleyrand, the cunning French diplomat known for his sharp wit and even sharper tongue. One day, after yet another of Napoleon's grandiose proclamations, Talleyrand, unable to hold back his disdain, mutters under his breath but loud enough for the room to hear, "What a pity it's not as easy to conquer oneself as it is to conquer other people." The room freezes, tension crackling in the air as everyone waits for Napoleon's reaction. Napoleon, though fuming, opts for icy silence, knowing that Talleyrand's cutting remark has struck a nerve. The comment would echo through history, a poignant reminder that even the mightiest conquerors are not immune to the barbs of a well-placed insult. Have you ever wondered what could make a U.S. senator burst into uncontrollable laughter during a tense debate about war? Picture this: it was the height of World War I, and the Senate chamber was thick with anxiety and fervor. Senators were locked in a heated debate over a crucial war resolution. Suddenly, Senator Thomas Gore, who was blind, rose to speak. As he passionately argued his point, an opposing senator interrupted, sarcastically suggesting that if Gore could see the battlefield, he might change his stance. Without missing a beat, Gore shot back, "If I could see, I'd be firing a different kind of ammunition." The unexpected wit and perfect timing broke the tension, causing the entire chamber, including the initially stern senator, to erupt in laughter. This moment of levity amidst the gravest of discussions remains a memorable testament to the power of humor even in the most somber settings. Imagine a grand English manor in the early 20th century, where the elite gathered for tea, a ritual as revered as the crown itself. Amidst the clinking of fine china and the murmur of polite conversation, a young Winston Churchill, not yet the iconic wartime leader, inquired innocently, "Do you take sugar in your tea?" Lady Esther, known for her sharp wit and equally sharp tongue, seized the moment. With a smile sweet enough to curdle milk, she retorted, "No, thank you. I prefer my tea without arsenic." The room fell silent, the air thick with tension and astonishment. Churchill, unflappable as ever, delivered his legendary comeback, "And I prefer my tea without you." The exchange, though seemingly trivial, became a legendary example of Churchill's unyielding spirit and quick wit, forever etched in the annals of British history. Imagine the hallowed halls of the U.S. Supreme Court, where every word carries the weight of history. It's 2013, and the court is hearing the landmark case of United States v. Windsor, which would ultimately strike down the Defense of Marriage Act. The tension is palpable, as justices and lawyers engage in rigorous debate. Suddenly, Justice Antonin Scalia, known for his sharp wit, asks, "When did it become unconstitutional to exclude homosexual couples from marriage? 1791? 1868, when the 14th Amendment was adopted?" Without missing a beat, the lawyer for the plaintiff, Roberta Kaplan, retorts, "No, Mr. Chief Justice. It's when we decided that there was no longer any rational basis for it." The courtroom, caught in the gravity of the moment, erupts in a ripple of restrained laughter. Even the sternest faces crack a smile, momentarily lightening the air in a room where history was being rewritten. Imagine a room thick with tension, the kind that makes every breath feel like a calculated risk. It was the height of the Cold War, and top officials from the United States and the Soviet Union sat across from each other in a nondescript, dimly lit conference room. The air was charged with suspicion and unspoken threats. Suddenly, the stern silence was broken by Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev, who leaned forward, a mischievous glint in his eye. "In capitalism," he said, "man exploits man. In communism, it's the other way around." For a heartbeat, the room was still, then ripples of unexpected laughter spread among the delegates, momentarily dissolving the ironclad animosity. It was a rare, human moment amidst a backdrop of icy diplomacy, a reminder that even in the gravest of circumstances, humor could bridge the most formidable divides. Imagine the scene: the Cold War's tension is palpable, the world is on edge, and every word from a leader's mouth could tip the scales. Enter President Ronald Reagan, whose offhand quip during a sound check on August 11, 1984, nearly sparked international pandemonium. With the microphone live, Reagan joked, "My fellow Americans, I am pleased to tell you I just signed legislation which outlaws Russia forever. The bombing begins in 5 minutes. The world held its breath as the quip spread like wildfire, with Soviet officials scrambling and American allies bewildered. What was meant as a humorous aside became an instant legend, a stark reminder of the power of words amidst the high-stakes game of global politics. Reagan's comment, however unintended, showcased the razor-thin line between jest and jeopardy during one of history's most precarious periods. Have you ever wondered what happens when the most powerful person in the room gets an unexpected dose of humility? Imagine the House of Commons in uproar, the air thick with tension and anticipation. It was the 1940s, and Winston Churchill, the indomitable British Prime Minister, was delivering a speech with his characteristic gravitas. As he waxed eloquent about the strength and resolve of the British people, a voice cut through the solemnity. It was Bessie Braddock, a Labour MP known for her sharp tongue. "Winston, you are drunk," she exclaimed. Without missing a beat, Churchill retorted, "And you, Bessie, are ugly. But I shall be sober in the morning, and you will still be ugly." The chamber erupted in laughter, the tension dissipated, and even those who opposed him couldn't help but admire his quick wit. This moment remains a testament to the unpredictable and often humorous nature of political life, where even the most serious debates can take an unexpectedly amusing turn. Imagine the revered General George S. Patton, known for his fierce leadership in World War II, standing in the mess hall, his sharp eyes scanning the unappetizing trays of food. One day, after another inedible meal, Patton couldn't hold back his frustration. "If you can't cook better than a damn mule driver, then you have no place in this army," he barked, his voice echoing through the hall. His words, biting and sarcastic, struck the cooks like a bolt of lightning. They scrambled to improve, fearing another verbal lashing. The irony? Despite the criticism, Patton's soldiers adored him, finding his brutal honesty a strange form of motivation. The general's unexpected culinary critique became legendary, a humorous yet poignant reminder of his relentless pursuit of excellence in every aspect of military life. What happens when two of the world's most powerful leaders meet and one of them decides to throw a verbal jab? Picture this, it's the height of the Cold War, tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union are at an all-time high. In 1959, Vice President Richard Nixon and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev come face-to-face in Moscow at the American National Exhibition. As they tour a model American kitchen, a seemingly mundane setting, Nixon proudly points out the modern appliances, symbolizing American prosperity. Khrushchev, never one to miss an opportunity for a snarky comment, retorts, "Don't you have a machine that puts food into the mouth and pushes it down?" Nixon, not to be outdone, fires back with a smirk, "If we don't have it, you can bet we will invent it." This exchange, famously known as the kitchen debate, was more than just witty banter. It was a microcosm of the ideological battle between East and West, a clash of lifestyles wrapped in sarcasm and humor, immortalized